Ready? Hello, beautiful. I am Sierra Sade, and I would love to help you build a better version of yourself so that you gain more fulfillment in life and love. So, welcome to Ultimate Woman TV. I am super excited to be here with you and introduce myself as this is the very first episode of Ultimate Woman TV. So, really quick before we dive into the topic of discussion, I would like to just give a little bit of backstory on myself, just a way as to just tell you a little bit about me. I've been an online entrepreneur for about a year now, and I've had the opportunity to connect with so many amazing women through the fitness brand that I created called Lit Fit Chick Apparel. Now, originally, Lit Fit Chick just started out as a way for me to make some additional income, but it gradually turned into something much more bigger as I began to develop these relationships with these women. So we're going to take it back really quick. I am someone who struggled severely with depression in my early 20s, so much so that I attempted to commit suicide when I was 25 years old. But I believe that God saved me because I'm here with you. And I believe that it's my purpose to advocate for women in a way that I haven't really seen done before. Not only because I am a woman, but because we are truly gifts to this world. And I believe that if more women understood that, and if they really operated in their power, then we do have the ability to make the world a greater place. So it is my pleasure to share with you my experience and all of the things that I've learned that has helped me, um, in hopes that it'll help you. So, rewind. I got off topic a little bit. I'm very passionate about this stuff. So, in the process of me connecting with these women, originally it started out just fitness related because that's what Lit Fit Chick was all about. But once I began to really speak with these women and develop these relationships, I noticed that a lot of these women couldn't successfully make it through their fitness journey because mentally they wasn't prepared to do it. And considering the fact that I am someone who knows firsthand what it's like to live in a state of mental sabotage that completely just ruined everything that you touched, I was honored to share with these women what has helped me in my process in growing my mentality to the state that it is now. And so I started to discover that what I was sharing with these women was really making an impact. So I said, well, why not start a YouTube channel sharing my experiences and sharing all the things that I've learned because it'll probably help another woman who didn't reach out to me because of fitness related topics or whatever the case may be. So here I am. I am so happy to be here with you. I am so happy that you were here with me because out of all of the things you could have been doing, you stopped in to check in to see what your girl was talking about. And I really appreciate that. So once again, welcome to Ultimate Woman TV. Okay, so as you can tell from the title of this video, we are getting ready to discuss the power of the pussy. And I don't know if I can say that, so I'm just going to say the power of the people. You know what I'm talking about. But seriously, it is some really powerful stuff, you guys. And I didn't necessarily know how powerful it was until maybe about a year ago. I'm being completely honest. But it's really powerful stuff. And once women start to realize that what's sitting between their legs is powerful, then they'll feel better about allowing men to have it. So I see so many women, and I'm guilty of this myself in the past. There are so many of you guys out there who is willing to do anything just to get a man. You settle for false promises, you tolerate disrespect, you even give away your very own power, the P, to undeserving men just for the sake of having one. And some women do this so much that they never realize that they hold most of the keys to getting and keeping a man right between their legs. And if you can only learn how to use your power of the P, then you learn how to control your relationship with men. And I know that this is a really bold statement, but allow me to share with you some factors that is going to support this statement. So, before I get into the factors, the first thing I'd like for you to understand is men and women operate completely different. For instance, women are really emotional creatures. A lot of the times, the decisions that we make are based on how we feel. But men, on the other hand, they're a little bit more practical than we are. They take a practical approach to the decisions they make. Men are also way more sexual than women. And that's not to say that women aren't sexual, women can't love sex, or whatever the case may be, but men really love sex. And that's factor number one. There was a study done that analyzed the sexual behavior between men and women. And in this study, they found that the majority of men in age 60 and under thought about sex at least once a day, while only 1/3 of the women said that they thought about sex frequently. Now, let's think about that for a second, because I know for me, all of the things that I have going on in my life, I don't really have the time to think about sex, especially in the state that I'm in now. I'm saving all of this. All of this is going to be for the man who deserves it. But not only that, I just have too much going on. Right now, I'm a single mom. I'm building a business. I'm starting a YouTube channel, so I just have way too many things going on to think about sex that often. But for men, men think about it a lot. They think about it all the time, so much so that they're willing to pay for sex. And that's factor number two. Sex is valuable for men. Men will go out and they will pay escorts and they'll do all these different things just to have sex. Women, I don't know any women who's going to pay for sex, and I'm not saying that they're not out here. I'm just saying I don't know any women who is out here paying for sex. But for some men, a lot of men, it's natural, it's normal because it's valuable to them. Men need sex. Men want sex. They think about it all the time. So they are willing to pay for it just to get it. So that's factor number two. Sex is valuable for men. Factor number three is sex drives men. It drives them. For men, sex is their way of showing you who's boss. Sex is their way of showing you what they're made of. For a lot of men, they look forward to sex because they understand that sometimes, a lot of times, ladies, they hook you with it. And I'm just gonna be honest, they hook you with it. So for men, it's a reward. It drives them really to do a lot of the things that they do. So that's factor number three. And factor number four is men and women don't view sex in the same manner. You know what I mean? For women, keep in mind, we are really emotional. So for us, we want to connect first and we want to talk first and we want the foreplay and then we want to have sex. For men, the connection is the sex. You know what I mean? Men just see sex as sex. Women see sex as a way of connecting with a potential partner. So those are the factors that supports the fact that P is powerful because men think about it. They want it all the time. It's so valuable to them that they are willing to pay for it. And they just don't see sex the way that we see it. For them, they want to be in control, and sex is one of the ways that they are able to do that. And that's just period, point blank. So now that we got the factors out the way, let's talk about why it is that most women don't use the power of the P. And that's simple. It's simply because they just don't know how. A lot of women don't even know that they have the power of the P going for them. Thus is the reason why they just go around giving it out. And I used to be one of those women. So this is definitely not any shade. I listen to a lot of motivational speakers. And one of my favorites is Lisa Nichols. And Lisa said something to me that resonated in my soul. I heard her, this was a speech that I watched years ago, but it resonated in my soul so much because it was exactly how I was living my life. And what she said was, I went around having a whole lot of sex, looking for just a little bit of love. And I did that. I did that. And I see a lot of women doing that. We are going around just giving away our sex, giving away our power, giving away our pee, thinking that it's the way to go. And in reality, if you want a man to respect you, if you want a man to take you serious, if you want a man to value the qualities that you possess and you're able to bring to his life, one of the things that you have to do is learn how to use your power of the P. And that means not just going around just giving it away. See, men are really clever. Men are really clever. Men understand how women operate. And it saddens me because a lot of women don't even understand how women operate. We don't know that we are emotional creatures. We don't know that we make emotional decisions. So we don't know that we make emotional decisions. So when a guy comes along and he's spitting all this game and he's whispering all these sweet nothings in your ear, and mentally that's driving your emotions, you're ready to just drop the draws right where you stand. And men understand that. That's why they play the games that they play. That's why they do the things that they do, because that's the advantage that they have over us, is that we don't really understand how we operate, but they do. But that's okay, because I'm here to share with you exactly how we operate. And men don't want you to know that there's power in the P, but I'm telling you, sister, there is power in the P, and you have to start using it if you're ever going to really build a relationship that is meaningful in your life. But I was going to say, everything that men do, I'm not going to say everything, but a lot of the things that men do is to attract the P. The cars, the fancy cars that they drive, the labeled clothing that they wear, the flossing of the jewelry and the stacks of money, it's all to attract the P. And if it wasn't important for them, they wouldn't go out of their way to do that. So that's what you guys have to understand. P is important for men. And while he's running around trying to make you think that it's not, and that you're honored to be getting some of his little PP, it is. He's just playing a game on you, and he's playing on your emotions because he understands how you operate, and he can tell that you are not aware of how you operate. So that was just a little gem I spelled for you. Everything that men do, most of what men do, is to attract the P, baby. And don't forget that. So let's talk a little bit about how you actually use the power of the P. This is so powerful, you guys, because if you can really master your ability to use your power of the P to build happier, healthier relationships, it will bring so much value into your life. It helps you build your confidence. It helps you stay in control of your emotions. It helps you stay in control of your life. It helps you stay out of this state of feeling worthless and just feeling like this sex tool, because you're having sex with all these different men and it's not really making a difference. When you can really harness and use your power to your advantage, it brings so much value in your life. So I'm going to share with you a couple of tips, in my opinion, that is going to help you really harness and effectively use your very own power of the P. So tip number one is to get in control of your emotions. I cannot stress this enough, that women are emotional creatures, and we are. And it's not to say that that is a bad thing, because it's not. The world needs people who are able to sympathize and empathize, and women do that really well because we are emotional. But our emotions definitely gets the best of us sometimes. Think about a time, and this has all happened to us one time or another, but think about a time when maybe you were dating a guy and you guys got into it for whatever strange reason. Maybe he was just disrespectful and he was just acting and behaving in a manner that you never seen him behave before. And deep down on the inside of you, you wanted to be over him, but because your emotions were speaking to you, maybe you were lonely, whatever the case may be, you fell for it, right? That's happened to all of us. So if you are going to ever be able to effectively use the power of the P, the first thing you have to do, boo, you have to get in control of your emotions. You cannot be walking around here making these emotional decisions. You can't decide because you don't want to be alone that you're going to settle for a man who constantly disrespects you. Mm-mm. That's counterproductive toward the power of the P. It's only power when you're able to use it for benefits. So the first tip is to get in control of your emotions. Whatever it is that you have to do to get in control of your emotions, do that. But do it. Okay? So that's tip number one. Tip number two is to get your confidence up. A lot of times we behave in these emotional, irrational manners because we don't have confidence in ourselves. We don't look in the mirror and actually see that we're beautiful. We don't feel beautiful. We let ourselves go. We walk around looking any. I'm not going to say we because I know I'm fine and I pride myself in looking good. And I'm joking, but I'm serious. A lot of you guys walk around looking any kind of way. One of the things I hate to see is when I'm out somewhere and I see a young lady in pajamas or she have on house shoes. She just didn't put any effort into her beauty that day at all. And that is a huge disadvantage, you guys, because you have to understand for men, in the beginning, it's all about the attraction. There's no way for him to get to know your heart if he don't know you first. And the only way he's going to want to get to know you is if you attract him. So you have to get your confidence up. You have to be able to stand in a room with tons of beautiful women and still own your own beauty. You know what I mean? Because if you don't operate out of a space of confidence, then it's going to be easy for you to just give away your pee to the next jerk off who say, "Hey, what's up?" Because you're feeling some kind of way about yourself. And that "hey, what's up" from him is validation for you. And we do not want to live in a space where we need validation, you guys. That is killing my women today. Needing validation. That's why you see so many of these women all over social media, half-ass naked, excuse my French, but twerking all over the place. And it's 2020, like Meg said, we all twerk, you know what I mean? But to disrespect yourself for the sake of views or likes, it's really sickening. And that's simply because a lot of women don't have a sense of self-worth. They don't really believe that they really amount to anything. So they behave this way to get that validation, to get that attention. And it is an absolutely no go. It just is, you guys. So tip number two is to get your confidence up. Whatever it is that you got to do, if you got to get up a little bit early to put your makeup on or go get your hair curled or, put on an extra coat of lip gloss, whatever it is that you have to do to look in the mirror and feel pretty, do that until you can look in the mirror and feel pretty without needing someone else to tell you, okay? So that's tip number two. Get your confidence up, which I guess it goes hand in hand with tip number three, which is to look your best all the time. Like I said, for men in the beginning, it's mostly about the attraction. He's not saying, "Oh, she looks like she has a good heart. She looks like she's a great cook. She looks like she's a good homemaker." No, he's seen that ass, he's seen those curves, and he visualized what it was like to be with you sexually, which attracted him to you. And the only way that he can have that visualization is you look good, baby. So look your best at all times. That way you build your confidence. That way you don't need validation. That way you're able to look in the mirror and say, I know I look good, without someone else having to tell you. So look your best all the time. That's tip number 3. Tip number 4 is to date often. A lot of times we put all of our eggs in one basket, especially when we're in a state of loneliness. Loneliness, ladies, it will really tear us down. But I want you guys to start looking at loneliness in a different manner. Having that me time, that's that time for you to reflect. That's that time for you to do the self work. That's that time for you to do your makeup and practice looking in the mirror and telling yourself that you're beautiful. Being alone is not a bad thing all the time. In some cases, being alone is the best thing that could ever happen to you because it gives you the time to discover you. So be okay with being alone sometime. But let me bring it back around to tip number 4, which is to date often. So many times we put all of our eggs in one basket. We see a guy, and in the beginning, there's always that beginner's love. It always feels really good. He always makes you smile. The energy is always right, and the vibes is always there because that's that beginner's love. And what happens is if we're in a state that we really shouldn't be in, a state that makes us more vulnerable than the next, dating just this one guy or putting all your eggs into this one basket, a lot of times it leaves you with egg yolk all over your face. So date often and have fun dating. Just think of it as your way of meeting new people. Think of it as your way of getting out and having a night on the town, but don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Don't get so hung up on one guy, especially in the beginning. Have fun. Weigh your options. Date often, but that way you're not obligated to this guy who appears to be Mr. Right, but he's only using your emotions against you. So it really benefits you to date and have fun and to weigh your options. So that's tip number 5, and I keep looking down because I have my notes here. But that was number 4. Tip number 5 is to get what you want first. Before you give away your power, before you have sex with him, get what you want first. Let's say you meet this guy and you really like him and you want to spend time with him. Require that he takes you on 3 dates before you decide to be intimate with him. And of course you don't have to tell him that, but establish some kind of standards for yourself. Get you some boundaries. You know what I mean? Understand what it is that you want in a man, why you want a man, what value is he going to bring to your life, what is it that you seek from him, and make it a priority to account for some of those things before you have sex with him. Don't just go on a date with him and the first night, it was such a great time and it's been a while for you, so you just want to hurry up and just show him what you're made of. And don't get me wrong, we are all human. Those one night stands, it just happened. Or even sex on the first date, it happens. I'm not saying that it doesn't. What I am saying is don't make that a habit. Don't make it a habit of sleeping with the guy on the first date just because. Now, if the vibe is just that damn good, by all means, you grown, handle your business. But on just a regular basis, make it a habit getting what you want first, and then you reward him, right? That way you're not stuck feeling like you were played and, he just effed you and left you. So tip number 5 is to get what you want first. Tip number 6 is to say what you mean and mean what you say. So often we'll tell ourselves, I'm done with him. I can't do this anymore. He does not deserve me. I'm just over it. But we still give in for whatever the reason. One of the things you have to learn how to do, baby, is to trust Your instinct never guides you wrong. Your instinct is the spirit speaking to you. It's the spirits guiding you down the path that you're supposed to be on. But a lot of times, due to all these emotions we experience as women, we we give in on our word. You know, we say we're not gonna mess with him no more. We say we're not gonna call, or we gonna let him call us first. We say this and we say that, but we give in. Say what you mean and mean what you say. That's a part of being confident. You know what I mean? All of this ties back to being confident. When you're confident, you have the ability to say no without feeling bad for it. You have the ability to say, no, I'm just not ready right now, without him guilting you into having sex with him. But say what you mean and mean what the hell you say and move on. Tip number 7 is to never have sex with a man who has not earned the right to have sex with you. Now, in those rare cases that we just mentioned about, you know, sleeping with a guy on the first date, those should be rare cases. Not every guy you meet and go out on a date with, the vibe shouldn't be that great that you got to sleep with every man on the first date. That's not how it works. 9 times out of 10, when you hop into the bed with a man quickly, it's because you have no standards, baby, and you just really haven't discovered the parts of you that make you great. So you feel like that's what you have to do in order to gain his acceptance. But never have sex with a man who has not earned the right to have sex with you. I'm gonna erase that word never, because there are those rare cases. But don't have sex with a man who has not earned the right to have sex with you. You know, if he's not bringing any real value into your life, if he's not being a man of his word, if he's not able to support you in a way that you need to be supported, and I'm not always talking about financially, then what's the point of having sex with him? What's the point? And you can trick yourself into believing, oh, because I want to have sex too. I want some dick. I want some dick. You can trick yourself into believing that, sis, but that's not the case. That's not the case. The case is you got a lot of work to do on yourself. So those were my 7 tips to learning how to harness the power of the P. That way you are able to put yourself in a position where you're not building relationships that are going to be toxic for your life, but you're building relationships that are going to add value to your life. You are building relationships with men who are going to respect you. You are building relationships with men who really appreciate you. And I'm going to throw this out there too. A real man who appreciates himself and his standards, he appreciates a woman with standards. So never let a man tell you that a woman shouldn't have standards. Oh, girl, it's all good. You ain't got to have no standards. I like my women with no standards. You know why he like his women with no standards? Because he's insecure and he wants to manipulate you, and he wants to be able to have sex with you whenever he wants and still treat you like shit and going on about his business and come back when he gets ready. That's why he like his women not to have standards. But a real man who has standards for himself, he respects a woman with standards. So that's it for this video. I hope this topic was able to shine some light. I hope I gave you some insight. I hope I gave you some valuable tools that you can put into action right now to start building those healthier relationships in life. We are human beings, and it's no way around connecting with people. You just have to. But when you can learn how to deal with people in a manner that brings a value to your life, it uplifts you, it supports you, it really just put you in this space of just feeling good about yourself and about the world. So that's it. Again, if anything I shared with you in this video was helpful to you, if anything I shared with you in this video gave you any kind of insight or it uplifted you in a way, please consider subscribing. Also consider connecting with me on social media. I will have all of that information linked in the description box below. I'm sure you could tell that this was my first video. There was some nerves there, but I don't care. I laugh in the face of fear. No, seriously, this was really fun, and I really hope that you are able to come back and indulge in some more of this content, because I am here to help you get to your ultimate woman. That's it, boo. That is it. So until the next video, know that there is nothing better than you. Mwah.